March 20th. Little spring equinox action. And we were doing a women's circle tonight, and so KJ and I were just going over some cards we pulled for circle, but we didn't pull them for circle. We pulled them for this meeting with us, with you, Katie. We pulled the Priestess, Get Grounded, and the Crumbling. So the first one's about how are you being called to step up and lead? Who is the leader you wish you had? And that you don't have to be perfect for that, and you're actually not supposed to be. And then Get Grounded. This is for empaths, highly sensitives, helping to remind us to connect with nature when things are getting crazy and out of hand and all the chaos that swirls around. And then the Crumbling, what are you clinging on to? And these cards are coming from Rebecca Campbell's Work Your Light guidebook. But we were just reading the Crumbling, or I was reading it. KJ, do you want to read that again?
Okay. There's a shift happening right now where everything inauthentic can no longer survive. Relationships, jobs, social structures, anything built on shaky ground is destined to tumble down. It's happening to bring you back home to who you truly are, both individually and to society as a whole, so we can live a life that is in alignment with who we truly are. When you're in the thick of it, it can feel like a personal attack from the universe. Have faith, because the difficult times will be your defining moments. You will be reborn in the fire. You are being called to surrender, to stop trying to hold it all together, to loosen your grip, to let the crumbling occur. It may be difficult at first, but in the end, the sooner you let go, the sooner the rebirthing will occur. What are you trying to hold together? What are you doing your best to avoid? How are you trying to pretend everything is okay? You have what it takes to allow what is falling away to tumble and fall. Once the tower has crumbled, you will be able to rebuild your home on solid ground with mighty foundations in a view that is so magnificent that it will take your breath away each new morn. Kali, the goddess of destruction, and the Black Madonna are with you now. Lay it all on their altar. They can hold it all. And then the question is, what are you clinging to for fear of nothing coming to take its place? Have you ever drawn this one?
The other one, she just opened the book to the yes card, and it's just the word yes and capital
Over and
repeater.
over and over.
I haven't pulled that one, but I've pulled the no. Just a simple no card. Just a one and done.
Dang, that'd be awesome to have those two cards and then ask a question and pull one of them.
Yeah, I do that all the time, like with my palms, all of those things. Yeah. Yeah, we were saying earlier, we feel spacey today. So for those of you who on this recording, whoever's listening, we just experienced some pretty crazy wildfires that ripped through Oklahoma, and they were all over the place, and there's threat they might not be done with. And so it's just like after that chaotic wind comes through, and it's exhausting. But then like when it's time to see straight and it's actually a really beautiful day out, it's just in that like zony area. I think that's probably why we pulled the get grounded card, is remember where you're at and not allowing other people's panic or fright or fear or extreme Facebook posts or is whatever to get you worked up, and not allow those other fears that aren't yours to affect you. And at the end of that one, it said, go hug a tree or like touch a tree. And I was just thinking about my favorite tree in my yard that was spared, that went and checked on this morning, was like, even that with that in that spaciness, it's oh yeah, get grounded. So I feel like we all know that, but you forget when you're flighty and it's oh yeah, go hug your favorite tree. Help, yeah.
Yeah, and then it seems like worth saying that like you just got back into town, like you weren't even in the country and all this is happening and there's so many experiences to be had, but yeah, one of them is not even being here when this is all happening. Is that one the hardest? I don't even know.
Yeah, not knowing and then only getting the worst
Mhm.
information. People tend to always exaggerate and go to the extremes in this kind of situation. Like we heard extremes of this entire neighborhood is completely gone, or this building, this restaurant is completely gone. And we just drove by them and those things aren't true. And so it's important, I think, at this, when you live on Earth, everyone goes through all kinds of traumatic times. Like I always think of 9/11 and COVID and these big, huge things that affect everybody. It's in our life, we can know that those things are going to happen. And when they do, where do you stand? And if you can just recall back, oh yeah, what did I tell myself I was going to do in that situation? Not panic and just stay chill and stay calm and be present and get grounded and not react, but to respond, is a good lesson for everybody because it's easy. If you're having to react, then you will naturally, and you like your body will tell you exactly what to do. If there's a fire coming and you need to react, you'll run, but I wasn't in a place where the fire was. I just needed to be able to respond and communicate with my people and make sure that they were okay where they were, know what the plan was, like stay in communication and not panic in between contacts and talking with them.
And then you're in a vacation like paradise where you're like supposed to be thoroughly enjoying yourself and you're like split between two places. That
Totally.
happens.
It's to hard to be there like when your heart's in one place and then your body the rest of your body's in another. Yeah. Yeah, that was tough.
I felt so you both know, but we have had a couple of rounds. So the first round was like us watching it and then deciding to go ahead and leave. My children are both super worried, but it wasn't that bad. The second go around was in the middle of the night, like 3 a.m. There's a fire outside, get the kids in the car. But I felt like I did really well with that. I didn't have any emotion. I just went and did and got and drove. But it all came later. And like you said, that's when the grounding came in. And so I definitely did my grounding frequencies. I did the frequencies for my bathtub. But I've been feeling so weird in the days after that. It almost feels like I bring this analogy in a lot because it's mostly what I have to hold on to. But like the newborn thing where time stops for that day, that there was a fear that you had your newborn, but then everyone carries on, but you're still like, I'm not ready yet. This is still new and crazy, and I still feel weird.
Mm.
I don't really want to dwell there, but I haven't had enough time yet.
Yeah, I'm definitely in that space. Like, I'm just, what do I do? What do you do today? Like,
Yeah,
there's no,
exactly.
it's not a time for a routine yet. Yeah.
Yeah, what still matters.
Maybe it's time for a new routine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got back and personally I told KJ I was like, just gonna go on a water fast and I'm in it into my first day about with it, and it was like I just had so much clarity around what I needed to do with that because I have been an emotional eater probably all my life, but I think that is what's coming up for me right now is like changing my relationship with my gut and not allowing that. And it was really hard not to eat my leftovers this morning because I was like, they're so good. And it is comforting on that level, but I just decided not to. And it didn't take long at all after it was like I was leaving the house and I was like, oh, that wasn't that bad to make the right decision that I knew I was supposed to, like to just drink my good water and restructure myself and redefine the gut relationship.
It is strange times. I feel like I'm up and then down. I'm hot, then I'm cold, then I'm just like being split between two worlds. Is what it feels like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you say more about
And
that? The two worlds?
yeah, I think we're all at a choice point, and we're going to decide, are we going to get grounded, choose a way to step up and be leading, look for the new growth that comes after the fire, or are we going to just cringe and be afraid and expect the worst to happen again? It's a choice we're all facing right now, I think. And that's a microcosm of the macrocosm that the whole collective is facing. Everything is just in turmoil all around. We're a small microcosm of all the stuff that's going on that we can't even imagine. But as above, so below, as within, so without. We're also interrelated and interconnected. So it's fascinating to me to find the community of women. And tonight we're going to be holding a circle of women in this area who have just been through what we've been through. And we're talking about how to guide that so that it doesn't become, I'm going to share my story is worse than yours and oh, this is awful. Try to make it into something that is regenerative and rebirthing and looking at the juxtaposition between the first day of spring and the benefits that fire brings to the forest in nature and how to tie that together and how to make that dynamic and embodied in my life. Maybe that's why I'm going up and down. And because that's just how it felt during the whole fire thing. Yeah.
Yeah, you're in it. You're in your process. Yeah. Yeah, not continuing that fear circle. Because, and I was thinking about, was shared this a couple days ago. There's like this weird part of you that's almost, I'll speak for myself, this weird part of me that feels, I didn't feel as relieved as I thought I would when I learned that our house didn't burn down. And that was a weird thing. It was like, I fully expected it to because of the situation at the time and how close it was and all the propane tank, like all the things that were like right there ready to go. And it was like I think maybe it was that I had already decided and agreed to that was going to be okay. I already, like knowing it was coming, I already detached myself and I already let go of that and was like, if that happens, then that'll be fine and we'll rebuild. But also, there's like this sneaky little element underneath it that was like that rush you get from the fear, or that rush from the panic, or that rush from all of it, the adrenaline. It's once we realized it wasn't there, it was like, oh, and there's no adrenaline with relief. It's just relief. It's
Oh
a
my
it's
gosh.
so extreme. Those things are so different. And so I'm really wanting to put up plenty of attention on the depth of relief, like what that can offer too, and the excitement that new life and that can of spring can bring, because that I think that adrenaline is just in us so much in overdrive all the time that it's like when it's appropriate, it's needed, but it just spills over all the time. And it's so much that you do get addicted to it. And so I've been watching this show. I can't believe I'm going to say this. I've been watching one of I call them my soaps, my soap operas. Um, and I won't say which one it is, but I am on like season 3. And I that little whisper has been telling me like, this doesn't serve you anymore. You need to delete your Netflix account. And I'm like, but I always watch it while I'm doing things. But in this show, there's a lot of emergencies that happen, and it's, oh, that's feeding my, what's gonna happen? Panic, panic, panic. Even though it's tiny, and even though it's a show, your cells don't know the difference, and you can't tell. They don't know if that's about you or something else. The amygdala in your brain that processes fear doesn't know if the jaguar on TV is actually after you or just the main character. Like, they can't tell the difference. And I think I'm gonna delete my Netflix account because it doesn't serve me, actually. And I think that extreme part of all those choices that it's time to make. Yeah, like KJ and I have been talking about going on the water diet and being breatharians. Yeah, I think it's time. Like, even my partner Will's been talking about how eating is poisoning your system and poisoning you because we overeat. We don't need all the food that we eat. We don't need all the sugar. We don't need all the blah, blah, blah. And it overworks your system to where your system's not able to do the things I think it's meant to do because you're giving it too much other work to do, to process.
I read something this morning that said, is your body your temple or your trash can?
Oh, what? Yeah.
What are you putting in it?
Netflix and chill is no longer gonna be in my life. I'm gonna like
What are you
literally
gonna
have to
do?
get on there and do it right now as I'm saying it so that I do it.
What takes its place, or have you gotten that far yet?
Yeah, I literally have been ignoring the fact that I know I need to delete it. So I don't know yet. I'm excited to dive into that. Maybe in Circle it'll come up later.
Maybe making more stuff, recording more stuff.
Yeah, I got some pieces of driftwood to make a dream catcher for a friend of ours, and I brought it from the beach, so maybe I will just be more creative and paint and do things that are worth my time because something comes out of it. Nothing comes out of my show that I don't love. And it doesn't love me.
I have all my marketing stuff, and I've been doing my Facebook group, and I've been doing lives there. And you just reminded me that I was already going to do a live on that. Basically, like, the elephant in the room is your TV and how much TV you watch. And just what you said, like, what happens when you turn it off and how much time do you get back and what do you do with that time?
Yeah. Are you just bored? Or are you just allowing yourself to be reprogrammed into something else? Like, when I leave the TV on for my dogs, when I leave, like, I'm looking for that sound element so they're not just sitting in silence. And I always turn to the planet Earth and like the ocean station or something like that.
For some reason, that made me think of Sully, my oldest. He tuned me into, I guess, just imagining, but it's the same as feeling. Like, you can feel the earth spinning. He's like, see, Mom, just wait and feel it for a second. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're right.
That's cool. I can still feel the ocean waves a little. So I know what that's like.
Yeah, that's wild how long that lasts when you have ocean trip.
Yeah. Whew. I do feel better already.
You're coming home.
Yeah, I'm coming home. Coming home. Is there anything else?
Yeah, that was kind of lonesome without you. Like, KJ and I did what we did, but it was like something was missing.
Yeah, I felt disconnected for sure, which is like good and bad, but I like was fearing the disconnection, which is silly because I know there's nothing to fear there. It was just letting go can be panicky at first, and not in that good adrenaline way.
But that must have been what you sensed in some sort of way too, right? Because you were nervous about it. So the fires, like, do you feel like that was on your
My
your
radar somewhere.
yeah.
I thought about that afterwards, and I don't know the answer except for right when everything started kicking up, we had just gone into town to go get a bite to eat and to go shopping and souvenir, just to walk around and check out the town. We just arrived and we turned this corner and my gut just went ring. And I said, and I thought I had to use the restroom. And I was like, let's go right here and get a drink right here, and I'll use their bathroom. So we ended up sitting down and getting a table, and I didn't have to use the restroom, but my gut was like, not okay. It was one of those get your attention right now. And so I sat down, and I was like, okay, that kind of passed for a second. We'll see if I'm being able to eat anything. And then we started getting phone calls about everything that was happening. And so I think that was definitely like your body knows and your cells know, and we're all so connected that that's very real. And I don't know if I don't know the answer to, because I was really, really not wanting to leave on this trip. And I haven't really dove into if that's true for me or not, if that was the reason why. But it was hard not being here and not knowing and having your own eyes on it, I guess, in real time. It was tough. But then also having trust in all the people that you know are going to listen to what their best instincts are, and knowing that they do. And they did. Everyone made all the moves that they needed to and shifted, and yeah.
That part felt wild too, though, that it encompassed like almost everyone that I know was involved in some way.
And then getting the check-in messages from other people who don't live in Oklahoma. Hey, are you doing okay down there? Well, I think so. Yeah.
And then also, like, we have windy, dry days. Had a
Mhm.
million dry, windy days. But what was it about this week that was like fire?
I don't know, but it is the exact same week. This keeps coming up in my mind, so I might as well just say it. When it came up, it was the Ides of March. We were talking about the Ides of March and how that's the day, like the day, ominous day that something happens, that's seemingly negative, and the history behind that. But that's also for us 5 years to the day, almost to the hour that COVID shut everything down and my sister moved in with us from Chicago. And
Wow.
now they're they're back moved in with us again because of their damage, and they don't have a place to go right now. So
Wow.
it's like something about the fifth year. I don't know the numerology around that, but I was definitely starting to feel like patterns from 5 years ago hitting me again, and then all of this, and it's just like how wild things really do change at the turn of the season for different seasons.
And in a way that you couldn't have foreseen. Like tornado, yeah, sure, we got that. But yeah, fire, that's just never happened to me in this place that I've lived in my whole life.
Yeah, not on the radar until now. Definitely rethinking where I'm going to put all my important papers and stuff. Like, what is my plan next if there's a next time? What is my energetic plan? Am I gonna what do they say, shelter in place? Maybe I'll temple in place.
There you go.
Ground into my temple in
Yeah.
place.
Mhm.
Because there were a lot of people in town who weren't allowed to leave where they were at downtown at the time because they shut down streets and whatnot. But it's, yeah, shelter, temple in place. We just create a thing?
I think we did. I
Cool.
like it.
I'm gonna ground into the temple. Yeah. Oh, how are the ups and the downs?
Yeah. Uppy and downy.
Uppy and downy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been that
Still
way
in
for
it.
weeks, yeah.
Yeah, in
Ugh.
it. or in it. So I think we were gonna shift into talking more about back-end stuff on the app if we'll like to wrap this little recording up. We'll definitely be doing another recording soon. Put this link in. I think we're gonna do the YouTube link or something. People can listen in if they want to tune into that deeper conversation for today, and then we'll just stick it in the app in the community, and we will see you on the flip side.
Ta-da.
Yep.